When the anime breaks every rule of anime. Video by Tybe.
Every anime has a main character. Every anime explains his world to you, or at least tries.
First energy is negative energy.
This is called a stab.
Okay.
Physical manifestation.
Every anime has that one side character that doesn't do feet. Strong characters.
Usopp disrespect is kind of crazy. Usopp does shit.
Monologue before the kill. The Japanese dub comes first. These aren't suggestions. These are damn near the rules, the unwritten laws of anime that have been the
shit,
same
hold on, he
for
kind of
decades.
tweaking with the
Every
edits.
show follows them. Every studio respects them. This anime says, fuck that. This is
All right, that he kind of went crazy with the intro there. He kind of went crazy with that intro there. I'm not going to hold you. That shit made me relive Strange Fake a little bit. We got my girl Ayaka. We had that lame ass nigga Orlando. Yo, this had to be the sorriest nigga of all time, bruh. I remember when I first saw him, I thought he was about to be too cool. I thought he was about to be too tough. This nigga sucks. This nigga sucks buns.
This is Fate Strange Fake, the most confusing, beautiful mess you will ever watch. And the fact that it exists at all is
low-key a good way to describe it. Confusing, beautiful mess. Shout out Fate fans, but every single ounce of Fate Strange Fake that I watched, I would not have been able to watch without a chat up there explaining what was going on. And I get it might be later in the timeline and expecting you to know some of Fate, but even then that shit was confusing as hell.
Because for anyone who doesn't know, this anime started as an April Fool's fan fiction.
April Fool's oh shit, that is Strange Fake, huh? And then it just became canon. Interesting. Who's that? Teenage Chelk up there?
I need you to understand, I am not joking about that. The author, Ryogo Narita, the guy who created Bakano and Durarara, wrote a fake Fate story as a prank in 2008, and then the actual creator of the Fate franchise read it overnight and said, you know what? This is canon now.
That is one thing I respect about Fate, bro. That is one thing I respect about Fate. It gives me comic vibes in the sense that, like Western comic vibes, in the sense that they'll just add shit to canon if they enjoy it. You know what I mean? The canon or the grander verse is more like an outline. And then you kind of just add whatever you want. I don't think they should go like full SCP, everything is canon. But like if you have a good author, because like, have you ever read a good ass fan fiction? Or seen some good ass fan made work where you're like, yeah, that's kind of better than canon, I'm not gonna lie. I like that Fate, plays fast and loose enough with their canon that they at least allow shit to be added into canon, regardless of who wrote it.
A prank to 9 light novel volumes to one of the most insane anime I've ever seen. And the thing is, that origin makes perfect sense once you watch it. There are 13 master servant.
Okay, have we seen all 13 in Strange Fake? I think so.
Pairs in this anime, plus independent agents running around doing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, that was okay. Who do we have in Strange Fake? We had all the servants, we had the cops, we had the government agency, the USA government, we had the church, we had I really got to think about it because I'm forgetting. We had old girl that was hanging out with Mr. Black. We had the mafia. Like low key, and he said this was written by the dude who wrote Bakano, right? I can see that because Bakano works in a similar way where they have all these different parties, sort of a loose or a sort of an overlying plot with all these different parties. And then they all kind of converge into the middle on the plot. But like, yeah, we don't really get told what side to root for. You know what I mean? I'm over here thinking we were supposed to root for Flat, that Flat was supposed to be our MC, and then he doesn't show up for 60% of the show. And I mean, we all know how that ended with Flat. And so, yeah, I do give I do give Fate Strange Fate credit for what it was able to accomplish.
Every single one of them gets backstories, arcs, POV sections. You don't have a guide. And it works because, and this is important, the previous Holy Grail Wars were pretty much run by hormonal teenagers going to the same high school. Meanwhile, this war...
That was one thing I was thinking while I was watching UBW, or while I've been watching UBW. I have been thinking, yo, it is awfully convenient that a lot of this is just happening in the school. And I get Ayaka is the MC, you know, probably in canon or officially. But if we're looking at the way this show is structured, Ayaka has only a slight amount of narrative importance over any other faction leader. Like, if you told me Orlando was the MC, I'll be like, okay, I can kind of see it. If you told me Flat was the MC up until the last episode, I would have been like, okay, I can kind of see it. And so, even though Ayaka might, you know, officially be the MC on paper, and maybe I've never read Fate, right? So maybe the novels are, I think they said this was light novels, right? Maybe the novels are more skewed in her direction. I do enjoy Strange Fake in the fact that, like, okay, compare the role that Ayaka plays to the role that Emiya plays, or Ren, right? You watch UBW, we're watching UBW. It's very clearly centered around Emiya, with Ren as the, you know, secondary deuteragonist, and then I guess you could say Saber is probably a deuteragonist too. You look at Strange Fate, you're like, okay, Ayaka is very important. But I would say Richard. I would say the story so far, let's talk about it. I would say the story so far has been more Richard focused than Ayaka focused. If someone came out of Strange Fake saying, yeah, I think Richard is the MC and Ayaka is the deuteragonist, I wouldn't be mad at that because I see it too. And Flat too. Yeah, again, it's hard retroactively. Retroactively, it's easy to forget. Like our first POV we got was Flat. A lot of the beginning was Flat's POV. Then he disappeared, and you know, then he croaked. And also, right, if we're talking about a tertiary potential protagonist, I'm saying Sigma probably has more relevance than Ayaka. Or at least we've dug more into his backstory and seen more of his development. Ayaka, we've really only gotten sprinkles.
Where it has the top mages, mercenaries, and psychopaths of the world, all co-conspiring in the middle of the desert. One of the masters is a dog, an actual dog.
That shit, okay, how did this happen? Like, do we have a canon explanation for how the dog was able to summon like damn near the strongest master? I mean, strongest servant. He can't say the little incantation. Yo, imagine you treat your dog wrong. You don't feed your dog enough, and that boy summons a whole servant on you. You get hit with an Excalibur because you forgot to feed your dog kibble for a day? God damn.
Summoned by one of the most powerful servants in the entire war. Nobody questions it. The dog, it's just there, bro. It's just there.
I question it.
If you grab me, I'm gonna bite you.
Oh, also.
Yo, that dog fucking kills me, bro. Have y'all seen that video?
If you grab me, I'm gonna bite you.
Oh, also, Gilgamesh, the literal demigod divine being, is also
he's gone, right?
For some reason. And all your taxpayer dollars are going directly
Gilgamesh is gone.
feeding.
Ooh, my boy. What was his name? This wasn't Jester. This was Caster, right? I'm getting confused because I'm watching UBW now and they use the same titles. This was Caster.
Caster Wagyu steak while he sits in front of a 6-monitor setup watching the entire war on stream. I could not make this up. This is the holy
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Caster still might be my favorite servant of all time.
Because everybody involved in this is on the crack, the show never stops to explain anything to you. They use terms like reality marble, dead impossible, noble phantasm, and they never tell you what any of that means.
You gotta just know.
You'll know.
You gotta just be tapped in. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of respect that. As much as hard as it was to get into without y'all explaining everything to me, I do respect that they unabashedly tell their story and don't over-explain things. Because with the amount of stuff they would have to explain, we would get more exposition than we did actual plot development.
What?
If they
They're
sat and
right.
explained
I
it.
do know. And that's what I love about this anime. Because it's so far into the Fate franchise where it would be genuinely weird if these masterclass mages who spent their entire life preparing for this war suddenly stopped mid-fight and said, so, hey Phil, you know what that noble phantasm is? Let me explain that to you. No,
Yeah, good point.
you look
Good
like a
point.
complete
Yeah,
idiot.
we're saying, me and Ty really locked in right now. We're thinking the same things, you know? We're really like a master servant duo right now.
Refusing to hold your hand isn't a flaw. It's called Fate Strange Fake, not Fate Gentle Introduction. And usually in anime, the strong guy wins most of the time. Gilgamesh, the most overpowered character in the franchise. The man with literally every weapon in his interdimensional storage nearly gets killed by someone who exploited his
Oh yeah, they did cheese him back alive at the end, kind of.
master's emotional passivity to shut down his primary ability. Why that kind of rhyme? Then there's Hercules, or Alcides, as he goes by now, the guy who nearly killed Gilgamesh. He also voluntarily gives up his god hand immortality.
That shit was crazy. I'm still confused on the Heracles, Alcides sort of thing. I don't really know where his character is going. Like, is he just evil now, working for that mafia dude, or what?
The ability to survive 12 deaths says I'm not the son of Zeus anymore and surrenders his strongest power on principle. In every other anime, characters only gain strength. This man powered down and decided he's fighting without divine protection.
So wait, is he actually powered down? Like, could he have been stronger in this Holy Grail War? And he just willingly chose, like, yeah, no, I'm not fighting with everything I got, not this time. That's kind of cool, because he was still broken, bro. He was still out there whooping ass. And this ain't even his full potential, huh?
Because he doesn't need it. Every second this man is on screen, you can dang near feel the aura. Also, he has one of the coolest designs I've ever seen. I mean,
the mask with the chains over it.
Got Pale Rider, a
Pale Rider.
literal
Who was that?
horseman of the apocalypse.
Oh yeah, this nigga showed up for like 13 seconds, bro. Who was this? How did this thing get summoned in?
Controlled by a comatose child in a hospital bed. Yep, amazing. And I'm sitting
That's
there
Mr.
like,
Black?
okay, what are they supposed to do against the literal apocalypse?
Interesting.
Boom. Charlie Chaplin. One of the masters tells everyone his servant is Charlie Chaplin,
Nigga straight lied, bruh.
the comedian. And the best part, he's lying, but nobody can prove it. He must be an absolute S-tier capper because how the hell was...
And I like how they they don't even question it. They just ride with Charlie Chaplin throughout the whole show.
Charlie Chaplin come back as a heroic spirit. They just started making shit up at this point. But the thing that broke me the most about this anime, the one that genuinely shook me to my core, is what they did to Flat. And this dude's name is Flat.
Thank you. I'm glad someone else is calling out this lame ass name, bro. The nigga's name is Flat. That shit is buns. But Flat, for me, Flat was like so this whole video's thesis is like, all right, fate breaks all the rules, right? Flat was like the biggest representation of that idea to me, because Flat was introduced first, all right? As someone who knew nothing about fate and started watching this, I'm sitting here watching this thinking Flat is the MC. All right, cool. He doesn't show up for a bit. Maybe he's not the MC. Maybe it's like a dual protagonist thing, whatever. All right, by the end of the season, I understand that Flat isn't the MC, but I'm also like, he's very important, right? Like, I think he's being built up to be like right there under Ayaka, maybe at like a Sigma level. You know, we get his past, his backstory, all of his past trauma. I'm like, okay, Flat, you know what I mean? He's one of the few good people in this fight. I'm like, Flat, he's gonna be one of them ones, you know? We're gonna be seeing a lot of Flat in 2030, whenever this next season drops. And then he gets smoked in such an unceremonious manner. And as frustrating as that was as a viewer, I respect it. I respect it, because if you're trying to build up a war, in my eyes, you do got to have some people dying in an unceremonious manner. You know what I mean? There's some people, right? We're all the MCs of our own story. There's some people who go to war, right? They're the MC of their own life, just like we all are. They go to war and just get their shit blown smooth off, and that's just it. You know what I mean? You're expecting this big build up to his death, And he just didn't he get sniped? Didn't he get killed by a weapon that you and I could technically buy? If you're in the US, I know a lot of y'all can't buy rifles, but you know, he just got sniped. And again, as frustrating as a death that unceremonious was, I did like it because it did build up the war for me in a way where I was like, oh, this is serious. And I'll say this much. I think it does that better than what I've seen in UBW so far. Rest in peace to Flat. As heart-wrenching as this death was, I like the way they do it. I like the way they did it, rather.
Gotta be some UK like, "Oi, my name's Flat, mate" type shit. You see, Flat is the heart of the story. Goofy, genius. His professor describes him as too kind to be a mage. He's the comic relief, the endlessly likable.
He did put on that dumbass Texas fit, bro. Or Nevada, wherever they are. I'm not even from Texas or Nevada, and that shit pissed me off.
Character. But here's the thing about Flat. He wants to befriend enemy servants and go conquer the world together on some sunshine and rainbow type beat. And the show decided to genuinely make this man an example in the cruelest way I have ever seen.
Got his shit rocked.
Organizers,
Yo, I need to see it. Let me lock in. I've been locked out this past week. I've been too distracted, but I'm just saying, I don't really care about old bro who works for the government in the trench coat over there. But I need to see more of my girl, bruh. I need to see more of my girl over here.
Identify Flat's alliance building, his friendliness, his cooperation as a genuine strategic threat. And they respond by having this man shot, sniper bullets mid-sentence. He gets hit in the chest, takes a round to the cranium, and his body gets riddled with more bullets.
They lit that boy up. They said, yeah, he a bit too OP. We can't have him out here.
Him up as dang near the MC. Him and Richard were the two across the board good people in this war. And they just blew my man down with guns. Not even magic, not no phantasm.
That was cold.
Guns. In a show where people are so...
Who the fuck was that?
Where people are summoning billions.
Who the
across the board, good people in this war. And they just blew my man down with guns. Not even magic, not noble phantasm, guns.
Who is this? Type shit.
In a show where people are summoning biblically accurate whales and...
What the fuck was this Watcher whale thing, bro? And does this have a manga? I didn't know it had a manga.
Pulling chainsaws out of prosthetic arms. This has to be the lamest way for somebody to die. And then, if it wasn't bad enough for my boy Flat, from his corpse, an entity emerged.
Whoa. This nigga about to spoil? Tybe. I'm gonna go forward past the flat. Part. All right, it looks like this should be good.
He used to lose all his aura in one moment, and somehow he's still one of the coldest, if not the...
All right, we're talking about Jester now. Okay, Jester was cold for like one episode. He was cold in the beginning. He was cold as hell in the beginning. But am I the only one who feel like Jester got sorry as the show went on? Like he just became corny. After he got whooped by the church, what fight did Jester win? I guess he was kind of winning against Orlando and them. And then after that, it was just GG.
It's like the Joker, but the Joker was a vampire that stores 14 lines every hour and had like a band kid face or some shit. Then you have these evil ass agents / mages who orchestrate.
Yeah, how many bodies did this dude have that were powering his crystals? He had like tens of thousands of bodies or something, right?
This entire false Holy Grail war. Don't worry if you don't know what that means, because the anime just decided you don't need to. These guys are the main big bads. They've been planning to militarize / weaponize these servants and Holy Grail wars, and they have everything they need to do that, including a room full of baby dolls.
What was this? Do we know what the dolls were about? Are they going to like embed consciousness into the dolls and have them move around? I don't know if I remember them really going into that.
Which actually doesn't concern me at all, because there are multiple literal
Oh yeah, we did. Yo, I'm just remembering how crazy this shit was now, bruh. We had these fucking titans attacking at the end of the series. Just showed up out of nowhere.
literal concepts as villains. And then there's one more rule it breaks that I need to talk about. And this one isn't about the story. It's about how this anime looks. A1 Pictures made this, and I know some of you just went A1.
A1 is one of those studios that's really on and off, right? They're either doing Fate Strange Fake level craziness. Let me see real quick. No, they got a pretty good track record. Let me not hate. They got a pretty good track record. I don't know if I ever had internalized them as anything crazy. I mean, having Fairy Tail on your roster, that has to be a negative. But no, they got their shit. They like that.
Pictures, Sword Art Online, mid-leveling. Yes.
Oh, they did Solo Leveling too?
Incredible animation. People forget that A1 Pictures was formed after splitting from Cloverworks. And Cloverworks be cooking till this day. So when A1 Pictures announced they'd be animating this, people immediately went, they'll always let...
Right. Who the fuck is this? But yeah, I guess if I was a Fate fan and I heard I was going from Ufotable to A1, I would be worried because Ufotable is on the low, especially the way they're moving right now. Ufotable is top of the top. Damn near it. Even if you want to say that there are some studios like Mappa that shoot above them at times, I think on average, Ufotable is top of the top. So shout out A1 for maintaining that standard. Although if we're keeping it a stack right now, Fate could just pump money into the production of this show. Just Isn't Fate like one of the best-selling games of all time? I know it's best-selling something, bruh. It might be anime franchises. It might be media franchises. That would be crazy. Yeah. Fate. 7 billion globally. Over Halo. Ice Age. I know Genshin probably going to catch it. Let's keep it a stack. Genshin probably going to catch it. Over Shrek. Over MLP. Scooby. Over... I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh guy. Got Dark Magician back there. MK, Gundam, The Sims. Fate is making bread, bro. Fate is making bread. You gotta respect it. Them damn gotcha players, bro. Niggas who look like this will really give your shit like bread, bro. Cause what? They got the gotcha games, they got the anime, of course, they got the visual novels, and I'm sure most of the money is coming from the gotcha games. Gotcha game. I think it's one game, right? I'm sure most of the money is coming from the game. Yeah, they got figures too, merch. Cause Fate is huge in Japan, right? Like it's like some shit you'll see around on the street and stuff. So yeah, shout out Fate. They doing their big one out there.
Living Ufotable shadow. And I get that. Ufotable built the visual identity of this franchise. Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, Heaven's Feel. They had this whole in-house pipeline where they layer compositing and lighting and particle effects until every frame looks like a movie still. A1 said, nah, Fake Strange Fake is the complete opposite, and I love it. Director
it does look flat. I forgot what that animation style was called.
Masterminds behind this beautiful shit show. This is their debut series. Less detailed.
This is the debut? Oh yeah, they big dogs now.
Means more fluid animation. They chose motion over polish every time.
Okay, what are we thinking, Fate fans? Are y'all liking the A1 Fate or the Ufotable Fate better? Just in terms of visual style. How we feeling? I do, and it's kind of hard to compare, right? I would need to see a Fate with modern day Ufotable, right? Because right now we're comparing a 2014 show to a 2025, 2026 show. For it to really be fair, I would need to see modern Ufotable doing something with Fate, which I think they have something coming soon, right? I know they got Witch on the Holy Night. But I think I prefer the A1 look a little bit more. And maybe that's just me, falling in line with the trends of modern anime, right? Because right now, anime does look a lot more flat. Just across the board, anime seems to be more flat and have less like lighting effects and stuff like that, with the exception of maybe like Demon Slayer, which obviously, you know, ufotable. But I think I prefer A1 Fate. I think I prefer A1 Fate.
And it's gorgeous. You see it clearest with Gilgamesh. Ufotable's Big G is donning golden armor, lens flare, glowing particles. A1's Big G is a brawler. He's got that tough armor that looks like he's ready for combat. He's hard, solid, and ready
Hey,
to
yo,
go.
pause. He's hard? Okay, he caught the... niggas really tapped in. Niggas really tapped in. Y'all wouldn't have said pause right there. Y'all wouldn't have said pause right there, and that's okay, but you got to lock in a little bit harder. You got to lock in a little bit harder.
Episode 6 of Fate Strange Fake cycled through 4 art styles in one episode.
They did do that, huh? That
also,
shit was
this
crazy.
This episode was packed visually. Lionheart was getting glazed from head to toe to did. We get to see where...
To what? To what, my boy? Right after the pause?
Head to toe to did. We
All right, bro. This nigga Tybe, bro.
get to see one of the most impressive noble phantasms I've ever seen in the Fate anime. Actually, this whole sequence was one of the most visually impressive things I've seen in anime animation. Like, the production quality is
That shit
through
was
the
cool.
roof. Even when almost...
And didn't it like not land or something, or he stopped it, or he got caught? Like, I do remember being unsatisfied with how it ended on the low.
Nothing's happening visually. Something's happening visually. Hair, maybe a cape in the wind. It's almost perfect. But here's what people get wrong. Production value and animation quality are
Which
not
had
the same thing. Ufotable
Boruto.
looks expensive through compositing. A1 pours resource into the animation itself. Ufotable gives you peaks. A1 gives you consistency. My goat, so
I can see that. I can see that.
My man was cooking. You can hear those melodies throughout the entire...
The soundtrack, it didn't stand out to me crazy. It wasn't bad. But it was nothing that I was like, oh shit, I gotta add this to the playlist.
Series. But what's not making sense, what's not adding up, is why does this anime look so good? Well, let me
It took
introduce
fucking
you
forever,
to my
didn't it?
little friend, Fate Grand Order.
Oh yeah, he about to talk about straight bread. The billions that they got, bro. The billions that they pumping into this shit. Cause I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like, well, you got to remember, anime is essentially a commercial, just in general. Anime are commercials for manga. Now they've kind of become their own thing just because the industry has gotten so big. But they used to just be glorified manga commercials. Fate is the same thing. It's a video game commercial. I've seen it firsthand, bro. I've seen it firsthand. I used to think this shit didn't work, right? Because I don't play much games. I'm not a huge gamer. And so, like, another example I would give is Uma Musume, right? My friend plays the Uma Musume game. All right, I watched the movie, and I was like, okay, cool. That's all I'm really into Uma Musume. I played the game a little bit. Didn't spend any money on it. Actually, I probably spent a smooth 20 on Uma Musume. Let me not lie. But I've watched the pipeline in real time. I watched my girlfriend go from knowing nothing about Uma Musume to probably dropping close to 100 on that game in like the span of 2 weeks just because she saw the movie. This shit was like the pipelines that these anime like get going. They're powerful. And so I could see why Fate would invest in having such a beautiful anime, right? Because if they can get niggas to tap into the anime, if even one of you has $500 that you don't care about and are bored and get no hoes, that's mean. If even one of you has $500 that you're willing to spend on a game, they have netted $500. If even one of you are whales. And so when you think about it from that perspective, I see why they drop so much money on these. I've dropped a few hundred on Grand Order, can't lie. That's not even crazy to say. I know multiple people who have definitely dropped 100 on Grand Order. I know a person who has probably dropped over 1,000 on Grand Order. I've dropped 1K on Grand Order. I know 2 people who have dropped over 1,000 on Grand Order. Now, extrapolate that to all the people across the world who know Fate. That is bands on bands on bands. 7 billion, we saw the numbers. Bro. So Fate is making money.
And you might not know what that is. And that's okay, because over 34 million people know what it
34
is.
million
And
players.
guess what? The
God
game
damn.
has generated not 1 billion, not 2 billion, not 30 billion,
Whoa.
$60 billion.
60 billion? We got to fact check, my boy. Mickey Mouse has generated 60 billion. I'm going to need sources for that, Tybe. $7 billion per year for 10 years. Is this total? Is this total revenue or annual? I think this is total revenue. Let's see. Fate franchise total revenue. Yeah, 6 billion, 7 billion. Maybe gross revenue? Maybe we're looking at net. But no, I feel like Fate wouldn't even be that expensive to run. It's just a mobile game, and yeah. 60 billion is kind of crazy. 60 billion sounds better, so let's just go. Nah, facts. Fate made $60 billion on y'all. Y'all don't want me to. I would flex the dollar bills I usually keep scattered around my desk, but I spent them on strawberry shortcakes for my girlfriend yesterday. So this is all I can flex on y'all right now. But hey, bread is bread. Bread is bread. Watch this though. Where'd it go? Y'all don't know about magic like that. That's Magecraft.
Dollars in revenue since its launch in 2015, making it one of, if not the highest grossing mobile game of all time.
What the fuck? Since when did India get that tough? That must be a spoiler.
Game of all time.
And who the fuck is this? I feel like there's a lot of Fate that hasn't been animated yet, because I've never seen this dude right here in my life.
I actually made a full in-depth video on that if you want to go check it out right here. But
okay, so you know it's $7 billion. That nigga says $60 billion. Nigga gave them a GDP.
Type Moon has nothing to worry about when it comes to budget. They're set for life. This is the bare minimum quality.
Okay, Sorcerer Supreme. They call me Dr.
That being said, I wanted to talk about one thing
Strange.
that's going around in the community. Fate Strange Fate.
Fate Strange Fake is better animated than Freerun and JJK. Let me think. I think JJK has higher highs. I think JJK has comparable highs. No, I think JJK has higher highs. I think peak JJK is... Okay, here's what I'm thinking, right? Here's what I'm thinking. Freerun is not even in the running. I'm sorry. And season 2 was like animation wise, but it did pull back a little bit from season 1, and we just don't get them showing out often enough for them to even be in this conversation. So it really becomes a conversation right now of JJK versus Strange Fake. I would say peak JJK. I think JJK has more peaks. Fate has a better consistency. I think Gilgamesh versus Echidnu, like JJK has like 5 scenes in that last season that were Gilgamesh versus Echidnu level-ish. But they also had some, and again, we're talking about like the best animated shows on the market right now. So even their lows are great, right? Even their lows are well above average. But Alkides versus Jack, Gilgamesh versus, Richard versus Pale Rider, the 3-way fight. It's close. I'd say it's close to the point where it's not even worth comparing, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, $1 billion franchise is dick measuring with the other multi-million-dollar franchise. They're both great, though. They're both great. I think just because of the sort of fights I like, Fate is a lot of like, boom, just vast, magical, sparkly sort of fights, and JJK is not as like, I don't know. I think I like the hand-to-hand choreography that they dip into a bit more. But they're both really good. So I can go either way with that.
Versus Jujutsu Kaisen's animation. We're not going to talk about the story because both of the animes have completely lost the plot at this point. And honestly, I don't want to pick between any of them. They're both really good. Animation battle. We're going to take the one.
That nigga cut himself off. Nigga said animation battle.
This animated episode of Fate Strange Fucking Fate and put it against the best Jujutsu Kaisen season 3 episode.
Ooh, okay.
Would you look at that? I couldn't find a bad episode of Fate Strange Fate. They're all goated. Whereas in Jujutsu Kaisen, okay, let me stop right there. On a serious note, comparing these two animes' quality, it's like comparing Disney versus fucking Glitch or some shit. One has billions of dollars and years of experience, while the other is still kind of a new studio, but it's impacted the lives and the lives of others so much that it's been able to generate millions off of his name alone. But like I said earlier, Fate's
now that I'm looking at Fate again, like, I think Fate, you get so accustomed to how good it looks too that you don't even really realize what you're watching. Like, it is two different things made on two different timelines. I mean, hasn't this Fate shit been teased for like half a decade plus at this point? Where like JJK season 3 was probably made in the past 3 or 4 years. It's not even fair. So, or it's not even equivalent rather.
consistency is unmatched. Some of the most insane consistency I've seen in every anime I've watched. Both of them also make Invincible look like it was made on a MacBook. So we're just gonna leave it at that. So if you haven't realized by now, anyone saying, yeah bro, watch Fate Strange Fake, you don't need to watch the other 20 plus series, it's just straight up lying to you. Now you can watch.
Okay, I would say it just depends, right? Okay, me personally, this is gonna sound kind of dumb, but sometimes I don't really care about understanding what I'm watching. Like, okay, Fate Strange Fake offers so much visually and production wise that I don't really need to be following the full story to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can follow, because obviously Fate is like a frame story, right? It's a story within a story. We're getting a small part of a larger story. I think it's pretty easy to follow the story of the season. Now, if you're not really tapped into Fate, or you don't have people watching with you that are tapped into Fate, you're not going to know how every puzzle piece clicks in. You're not going to get hype when that white hair chick shows up, whatever. But you can still kind of understand what's going on. And I think, like, when you're talking about, and I think it comes from two different philosophies, right? When I say this is a good segue into the Fate universe, I'm thinking of someone who doesn't know or care about Fate. If you're fine with going into something without perfect information and you just want a reason to watch it, I would say you start with Strange Fake, because the visual spectacle with that, at least for me, got me to a point where I was like, oh, that was so entertaining. I want to know more. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, let's say you've already decided, all right, you want to watch Fate and you want to watch it or consume it, because there's many different ways to consume Fate. You want to consume Fate in the most canonical way possible, where you have, the most information you could and you're working through the timeline as linearly as possible. I mean, at that point, you might as well probably go back to like source material or pop open a book or something. But I could see why someone would say like, excuse me, you want to start with UBW or Zero or whatever, go through them linearly. So it really just depends what you're looking for, right? I think a lot of people, especially with how fried niggas' attention spans are these days, you got to catch people, right? You got to clickbait people. You got to flash that $65 billion in their face. And if you want to catch someone who's not into whatever anime, hey bro, watch this fight. You know how many people I've seen get segued into an anime because they've seen a cool fight and gone, oh, that's cool, maybe I'll watch more. That solo leveling's like whole fucking strategy. Just have a bunch of cool fights, hope one of them grab you, and then have some little bit of plot stitching the fights together. But yeah, I would say that even if Fate Strange Fake isn't the best to enter the lore with, I think from what I've seen so far, it's the best to enter the series with, especially because it's the least dated. Like, it's the newest. It's the most current.
This anime without watching the other 20 plus series and still have hella fun doing it. Would I actually recommend doing that though? Yes. And the sound design. Oh my god, the sound design.
Approved.
I had to stop watching this anime on my phone. Immediately turned on my computer, plugged in my headsets, cranked everything up to max. Probably lost a couple years of hearing in the process, and I genuinely do not care because that's how good this sounded. Every fight has the most satisfying sound.
They do have that, especially these fights with the and I don't even know if we know what the fuck this thing is yet. But those fucking bass boosts, boom, that shit was cool.
Satisfying sounds I've ever heard.
Alright, bro. Alright, bro. What are we doing right now? What the fuck is that? This thing is high, funny as hell, bro. I'm not gonna lie, he did get some of those bass boosts right though. The bass boosts were kind of hitting. All right, bro. All right, that boy. Ew.
I will not let you destroy my world. Thank you. You know, I love my job. The release schedule for this anime was also like atrocious.
Okay, let's hear about this release schedule. So it first aired 2023, the long episode.
2023, one episode in 2024.
Okay, then, right, they did do the one episode in 2024. We watched that in December.
So that was a fucking lie.
Then boom, we finally got the full
And then, oh, no. I didn't watch the 2024 episode. I watched that in December of 2025. So what did they release the one episode for? Was that the long episode that they released? Because Fate, all the Fate that I've seen so far, they start off with a long episode. Right? The 40-minute episode was the one they released in 2024. And then they just kept working until 2026 when they were ready for the full release. Got it.
After waiting 3 or 4 years at that point. But if you can get why a police chief pulling out an anime katana to fight a vampire holding a couch is the
that shit was crazy. Hold on, move these. Like, how do I move these videos? Anyway, Jester holding the couch was hard as fuck.
hardest thing you've ever seen. This is it. It was one of the best anime experience I've had in half a decade. Please watch Fate Strange Fate. Season 2 is probably coming out in like 2029 or some shit. So I'll see y'all when we're all like 30 plus. And if no one's told you today, I love you.
Shit.
And
good shit, Tybe. Good shit. I already liked it.